Ethan Carter had always been curious about the stars. From the moment he first looked through a telescope as a boy, he dreamed of visiting other worlds, of meeting beings unlike humans, and of discovering mysteries no one else had seen. Now, at 29, he was finally living that dream. The human fleet had assigned him to a diplomatic mission on Zephora, a planet far beyond the outer rim. Zephora had always fascinated scientists. Its forests glowed at night with bioluminescent plants, its mountains shimmered with rare minerals, and rumors whispered of an advanced alien civilization with customs so strange they were nearly impossible to understand. Ethan's shuttle descended slowly through the thick violet atmosphere. He could see the sprawling cities below, with towers that seemed to float on invisible platforms and bridges made of translucent crystal. It was beautiful, but it also made him nervous. Diplomacy was never simple, and alien diplomacy could be deadly. One wrong move could offend an entire species. He landed near what appeared to be ancient ruins, curious structures built from metal and stone that no human architect could replicate. He adjusted his helmet and stepped onto the soft, glowing moss, marveling at the alien patterns etched into the ruins. Ethan had barely begun scanning the area when a sudden sound froze him in place, a soft, melodic voice calling his name. Ethan Carter. The voice whispered, almost carried by the wind. He turned, eyes narrowing. From behind a tall, luminous pillar stepped a figure unlike anything he had ever seen. She was humanoid but taller than most humans, with smooth, shimmering skin that reflected the colors of the forest. Her eyes glowed a gentle amber, and her long silver hair floated slightly as if moved by its own breeze. She wore a flowing gown that seemed alive, shifting colors as she moved. Who are you?" Ethan asked, careful not to show fear. "I am Princess Liara, heir to the throne of Zephora," she replied, her voice calm but urgent. "You should not be here alone." Ethan blinked. He had read about Zephora's royal family in the briefings, but he never expected to meet a princess, especially one who appeared so suddenly, in a place so remote. "I'm a human explorer," he said. "I come in peace. I'm here to learn about Zephora, not to harm it." Liara studied him carefully, her glowing eyes searching for truth in his words. Then, without warning, a violent explosion shook the ground. A group of space pirates emerged from the tree line, their weapons aimed at them both. Ethan's heart raced. He had trained for combat, but he had never faced enemies like this, not in an alien world with alien terrain. The pirates' ships hovered just above the ground, their engines glowing red. Ethan's instincts took over. He grabbed a nearby metal rod, improvising a weapon. Liara's hand shot forward, her palm glowing with energy. A pulse of light blasted one of the pirate drones into pieces. Ethan stared in awe. You can fight?" he exclaimed. "I can protect myself," she said, but her tone carried worry. "And you must survive," the pirates charged. Ethan ducked and swung his makeshift weapon, knocking one off balance. Liara's energy pulses struck true, disabling drones and forcing others to retreat. But the numbers were too many. One pirate aimed directly at Ethan, firing a beam that hit the pillar behind him. Sparks flew and debris threatened to crush him. "Over here," Liara called. She grabbed his arm and pulled him toward a hidden passage in the ruins. "Follow me." Ethan didn't question her. They ran, dodging lasers and falling stones until they reached an underground chamber. The walls were covered with glowing alien symbols, casting a soft light over their faces. Ethan leaned against the wall, catching his breath. "You're incredible," he said finally, still amazed. "Most humans would have been vaporized by now." Liara shook her head. "I should thank you as well. You fought bravely. Humans are clever in ways we do not expect." Ethan felt a strange warmth in his chest. He had always thought of humans as adaptable, but hearing it from an alien princess was unexpected. "I just do what I can," he said modestly. For a few moments they stood in silence, the sounds of distant battle echoing above them. Then Liara spoke again, her voice softer this time. "Ethan, you must come with me to the palace. You have proven yourself brave, and I wish to thank you properly. The council, they will be curious about you." Ethan hesitated. The thought of visiting an alien palace was intimidating. He knew little about Zephoran politics, and he didn't want to offend anyone. But something in Liara's eyes, a mix of trust and hope, made him nod. "All right, I'll go." The journey to the palace was unlike anything Ethan had imagined. They traveled through bioluminescent forests, across floating bridges and over rivers that glowed with soft green light. Liara explained the basics of her people's customs, though much of it was still a mystery. When they arrived, the palace rose like a crystal tower, its spires reflecting the alien sky. Guards with luminous armor bowed as they entered. The hallways were vast, decorated with shimmering tapestries and statues that seemed almost alive. Ethan felt a mixture of awe and intimidation. Liara led him to a private chamber where she offered him food, strange fruits that floated above the table and emitted soft pulses of light. He hesitated, then tasted one. The flavor was sweet, unlike anything on Earth. "You must eat," Liara said gently. "Your body needs strength. And tomorrow, you will meet the council. They will want to understand why a human is here." Ethan nodded, still processing the day's events. "I never imagined meeting royalty on a planet like this. I mean, it's incredible and terrifying." Liara smiled faintly. "Terrifying, yes, but sometimes courage is born from fear. Today you were brave. Tomorrow, we will see if you can be wise as well." That night, as Ethan lay on a soft, floating bed, he thought about how quickly his life had changed. He had come to Zephora as a simple explorer, tasked with observation and diplomacy. But in less than a day, he had fought space pirates, met a living princess, and witnessed powers no human had ever imagined. And yet, despite the fear, despite the unknown, he felt something he had never felt before: a connection. Princess Liara, with her glowing eyes and calm presence, seemed to trust him completely. And he, for reasons he could not explain, felt an instinct to protect her, to be near her, and to learn more about this alien world she called home. The night passed quietly, the soft glow of the palace casting dancing lights across the walls. Outside, the stars shone brighter than on Earth, each one a silent witness to the meeting of two very different worlds. By morning, Ethan was awake before the sun, or whatever Zephora's version of it, rose. He watched as Liara prepared for the day, her movements graceful, precise, and almost magical. "Good morning, Ethan," she said, noticing him. "Rest well?" "As well as I could," he replied, trying to sound casual but failing. "You will need your strength," she said. "Today the council will see you. They will judge humans, and you must show them that courage and wisdom are not limited to Zephyrans alone." Ethan nodded. "I'll try my best. I don't know if wisdom comes naturally to me, but I can be brave." Liara's smile was faint, but it held warmth. "Bravery is the first step. Everything else can be learned." As they walked toward the council chambers, Ethan felt a strange excitement mixed with fear. He was stepping into a world completely unknown to him, where every gesture, every word, every action could have consequences he couldn't imagine. But he also knew something else, something that filled him with purpose. He would protect Princess Liara. He would survive this alien world. And somehow, he would prove that humans were more than just fragile creatures. They were strong. They were clever. And sometimes, they were capable of things even the most advanced civilizations could not predict. The doors to the council chambers loomed ahead, massive and carved with ancient symbols that told stories Ethan could not yet understand. He took a deep breath, ready to step into the unknown. Whatever awaited him inside, he knew one thing for certain: his life would never be the same again. The council chambers of Zephora were unlike anything Ethan had ever imagined. Towering walls of translucent crystal stretched toward the sky, catching the soft light of the bioluminescent city outside. Symbols and patterns, moving almost like living streams of color, decorated the walls. The floor glimmered as if it were made from water itself, and the air hummed with a subtle energy that made the hairs on Ethan's arms stand on end. Princess Liara walked beside him, her steps graceful and confident. "Stay close to me," she whispered. "The council can be cautious with strangers, especially humans." Ethan nodded, swallowing his nervousness. He had faced pirates, wild creatures, and alien environments. But diplomacy in an alien palace was another level of challenge. Every word, every gesture mattered. One wrong move could offend the council, or worse, put him in danger. As they entered the chamber, Ethan's eyes widened. Around a long, curved table sat the council members, each radiating authority and intelligence. Their appearances varied. Some had shimmering, translucent skin, others had glowing eyes, and a few had limbs that bent in ways humans would find impossible. Yet, all of them carried an air of seriousness that made Ethan's palms sweat. Liara stepped forward and bowed deeply, a gesture of respect and introduction. "Honored counselors, this is Ethan Carter." He is a human explorer who has come to our world in peace. Today, I wish to honor him for his courage and quick thinking during the pirate attack." The council murmured among themselves, the sound like a soft wind through crystal towers. One elder, a tall figure with silver skin that seemed to ripple like liquid, leaned forward. "A human, you say?" he asked, his voice low and cautious. "We have long considered humans to be fragile, unpredictable, and unworthy of trust." Ethan's heart raced. Fragile and unworthy? That was harsh, but he knew he couldn't show offense. Instead, he straightened his posture and met the elder's gaze. "I may be human," he said clearly, "but humans can be clever, brave, and resourceful. I have faced dangers your kind might consider impossible, and I survived. I only wish to understand Zephora and to learn from it." The chamber grew quiet. For a moment, Ethan feared he had made a mistake speaking up. Then Liara smiled faintly, a subtle encouragement. The silver-skinned elder tilted his head, intrigued rather than angry. "Resourcefulness," the elder said slowly, "is not a quality often found among humans. Yet this human demonstrates courage under pressure. Perhaps our expectations have been misguided." Another counselor, a smaller figure with luminous eyes, leaned forward. "And what of your intentions? Humans often seek resources or power. Why are you here, truly?" Ethan took a deep breath. "I came to observe, to learn, and to build understanding between humans and Zypherans. I am not here to take or to conquer. I believe that humans and Zypherans can work together, share knowledge, and grow stronger as allies." The council members exchanged glances. Ethan noticed whispers and subtle gestures among them, signals of curiosity, surprise, and cautious approval. For the first time, he realized that perhaps humans had a chance to earn respect on this world, not through strength or weapons alone, but through courage, honesty, and wisdom. Liara placed a gentle hand on his arm. "They are impressed," she said softly, "but they may still test you further. Zypherans value cleverness and understanding of our customs more than brute force. You must show them that you can navigate our world with respect." Ethan nodded, determined to rise to the challenge. He had survived space pirates, and he could survive this. The council proposed a series of trials designed to test his adaptability and understanding of Zypheran culture. Ethan learned the basics quickly. Ceremonial dances that expressed respect, communication techniques that relied on subtle gestures, and problem-solving challenges that required logic and creativity. Liara guided him patiently, showing the nuances that no manual could explain. During one trial, they had to navigate a complex labyrinth filled with glowing symbols and shifting walls. Many Zypherans had failed, misreading the signs or panicking under pressure. Ethan, however, observed patterns carefully, connecting symbols and movements, and led Liara through the labyrinth successfully. "You think differently," Liara whispered as they emerged. "Humans see connections where we see obstacles. That is remarkable." Ethan smiled, a little embarrassed but proud. "I just try to notice things carefully. It's what humans do when we have to survive." As days passed, Ethan and Liara grew closer. He learned about her life, the pressure of being the heir to the throne, the loneliness that came with being different in a world full of expectations, and her dreams of peace and understanding. She, in turn, learned about humans, their resilience, their ability to adapt in the depth of their emotions. One evening, as they walked through the floating gardens of the palace, Ethan asked, "Do you ever get scared of all this? The council, the rules, the expectations?" Liara sighed, her eyes reflecting the glow of the gardens. "Every day. I am expected to be perfect, to represent Zephora, to make choices that affect millions. Sometimes I feel trapped, and yet, humans like you remind me that courage is not about perfection. It's about facing fear and moving forward anyway." Ethan felt a warmth in his chest. "I guess fear is universal then. Doesn't matter what planet you're from." Liara smiled. "Yes, but not everyone faces it with the same determination. You have something rare, Ethan, something I did not expect from humans." Their bond deepened, and it was clear that it was more than friendship. Yet their growing closeness did not go unnoticed. Some counselors whispered among themselves, questioning the wisdom of letting a human influence the princess. Tensions grew, and Ethan felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on him. One day, a formal festival celebrating Zephora's history and achievements took place. Ethan attended, careful to follow Liara's guidance on etiquette. The festival was magnificent. Floating lanterns, musical instruments that played without touch, and performances that told stories of the planet's past. Suddenly, a solar storm swept across Zyphora. Bright streaks of light tore across the sky, and energy surges caused panic among the attendees. Some of the floating structures began to falter, and people screamed as they struggled to maintain balance. Ethan's training kicked in. He grabbed Liara's hand. "Stay close to me," he shouted over the chaos. He helped stabilize the floating bridges with quick thinking, using ropes and harnesses in ways the council had not anticipated. Liara used her energy pulses to protect the crowd, but she relied on Ethan's guidance to evacuate the most dangerous areas. Together, they prevented injuries and chaos from turning into disaster. After the storm passed, the council convened to discuss the incident. They acknowledged Ethan's bravery and ingenuity. For the first time, a human had not only survived Zephyrin trials but had also demonstrated the value of human thinking in practical and dangerous situations. Liara looked at him, her eyes shining. "You have done more than survive, Ethan. You have saved lives and proven that humans can be trusted, respected, and admired." Ethan felt a mix of pride and humility. "I only did what I could," he said. "I didn't think about being admired. I just wanted to help." That evening, Liara and Ethan walked alone in the palace gardens. The moon, larger and brighter than Earth's, reflected on the glowing streams. Ethan felt a strange calm, a sense of belonging he had never felt on any planet. "Ethan," Liara said softly, "there is something I have not told you. Something important, but I am afraid of how you might react." Ethan looked at her, concern flickering in his chest. "Whatever it is, Liara, I'll face it with you. You've already shown me that life on Zephora is unpredictable. I think I can handle almost anything." Liara took a deep breath, her hand brushing against his. "It is about the future, and about you. But for now, let us enjoy this moment. You have done so much and you deserve rest." Ethan nodded, though curiosity burned in him. He had a feeling that Liara's secret would change everything. But for now, he allowed himself to simply walk beside her, to enjoy the alien night, and to appreciate the strange, beautiful, and dangerous world he had found himself in. Little did he know that the secret Liara carried would soon challenge not only their growing bond, but the very future of humans and Zephyrins alike. The morning sun, or what Zephyrins called the Twin Dawn, cast soft golden light across the palace gardens. Ethan had barely slept, though he tried. A strange mix of excitement and anxiety kept him restless. Something in Liara's behavior the previous night told him that today would bring revelations, and he felt his heart thrum at the thought. Liara was already awake when he found her near the glowing fountains. Her usually calm expression was clouded with worry, and her hands fidgeted with a delicate pendant. "Good morning, Ethan," she said softly, trying to smile, but the tremor in her voice betrayed her. "Good morning, Liara," he replied, walking closer. "You seemed troubled last night. Is everything okay?" Liara inhaled slowly. "There is something I must tell you. Something very important." She paused, her glowing eyes meeting his. "It concerns our future." Ethan's curiosity sharpened. "Our future?" he asked cautiously. "Liara, what is it?" She hesitated, her voice barely above a whisper. "Ethan, I am pregnant with your child." The words hit him like a sudden storm. Ethan blinked, unable to speak. His mind raced, trying to process what she had just said. "A child with him? On an alien planet? You, what?" He finally managed to ask, his voice trembling slightly. Liara took a deep breath. "It is true. During our time together, when the pirate attack occurred, we completed a Zephyrin bonding ritual. It was not intentional, but it has caused me to carry your child." Ethan staggered back slightly, gripping a railing for support. His mind was a whirlwind of thoughts. The implications were immense, political, cultural, and personal. Yet, through the storm of surprise, he also felt something else. A deep, protective instinct for Liara and the life growing inside her. "Liara," he struggled to find words. "I don't even know what to say. This is unexpected." She reached out and touched his arm gently. "I know it is sudden, Ethan, and I understand if you feel unprepared. But the council, they must know, and I cannot face this alone." Ethan drew a deep breath, steadying himself. "We'll face it together," he said finally. No matter what happens, I'll stand by you. Liara's eyes softened. Thank you, Ethan. That means more than I can express. But the council will not see this as simple news. Some will call it a scandal. Others may see it as a chance for unity, or as a risk. True to her words, when Liara and Ethan appeared before the council later that day, the room erupted with whispers and murmurs. The council members' expressions ranged from shock to curiosity, some even appearing concerned. One elder, the same silver-skinned figure who had been cautious before, leaned forward. Pregnant? With a human child? He asked, his voice tight with disbelief. This is unprecedented. Ethan stepped forward, determined to show calm and confidence. I understand this is unusual, he said. But humans value life and family. I will take responsibility for this child and support Princess Liara in every way I can. I came here seeking understanding, not conflict. I hope this child can be a bridge between our peoples. The council fell silent, studying him carefully. Then another counselor, a taller figure with amber eyes, spoke. Responsibility, wisdom, courage under pressure. Humans may be fragile, but this human shows qualities worthy of respect. Yet the question remains, how will the princess proceed? Liara's voice rang clear and firm. I have made my decision. This child is the future of both our worlds. I wish for Ethan to stand beside me, not as an outsider, but as a partner. And I ask the council to accept this union for the good of Zephora and humanity alike. The chamber erupted in debate. Some members protested, arguing that a human should not influence the royal line. Others were intrigued by the possibilities. A union that could bring unprecedented alliances, blending human and Zephyran strengths. Ethan listened carefully, staying silent, knowing that any words could sway opinions either way. When the debate quieted, the silver-skinned elder spoke again, slower this time, measured. This is extraordinary. A human taking responsibility. A princess willing to unite our peoples through this child. Perhaps we have underestimated humanity. Perhaps courage, loyalty, and wisdom are not limited to our kind. Liara reached out for Ethan's hand, giving it a gentle squeeze. He felt her trust, her hope, and the weight of the moment. In that gesture, he realized the depth of his responsibility. Not only to Liara and their child, but also to the people of Zephora and to the human fleet watching from afar. The council, after hours of discussion, made a historic decision. Ethan would be formally recognized as Liara's partner. They would plan a union that honored both human and Zephyran traditions. The child would be celebrated as a symbol of unity, and both species would gain a deeper understanding of each other through this unprecedented event. Even after the council's decision, Ethan and Liara faced new challenges. Preparations for the formal union required them to navigate the complexities of Zephyran culture, rituals, ceremonies, and rules that had existed for thousands of years. Ethan found himself learning more about patience, observation, and diplomacy than he had ever imagined. Yet in private moments, Liara revealed her fears. Ethan, I am happy you are here. I trust you. But this child, it changes everything. I'm not sure if I am ready for the responsibilities. And the council, I fear their judgment will not end with approval. There will be expectations, pressures, even dangers. Ethan took her hands in his own, steadying her. Liara, you are not alone. We face this together. Your courage inspires me, and I promise I will be there for you, for the child and for you no matter what comes. Her eyes glistened with emotion. You speak like a true human warrior. And yet your heart is kind. I am grateful beyond words. As the days passed, they trained for the union ceremony, blending human and Zephyran traditions. Ethan learned to bow and move with elegance, to speak the proper phrases, and to honor the rituals that would signify his commitment. Liara taught him with patience, but she also allowed moments of laughter and lightheartedness, helping Ethan feel less like an outsider and more like a true partner. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the crystal mountains, Liara and Ethan walked through the palace's floating gardens. Ethan noticed a subtle glow from her abdomen, the unmistakable sign of the life they had created together. He reached out and gently touched her hand. I cannot imagine a more precious responsibility, he said quietly. This child, it's a new beginning, not just for us but for both our worlds. Liara smiled, though her eyes held a mix of hope and worry. Yes, a beginning. But beginnings are fragile. We must protect it, nurture it, and ensure it grows in a world ready to accept it. Ethan nodded, feeling the weight of his promise. We will. I will do everything I can to make sure our child grows up in safety, surrounded by love and respect. Liara's smile brightened, the tension in her shoulders easing slightly. I believe in you, Ethan. Humans, you may be young in your history, but your spirit is strong, perhaps stronger than even we imagined. That night, as they sat together under the glowing sky, Ethan thought about everything that had happened. From the moment he first set foot on Zephora, his life had changed in ways he could never have predicted. He had faced danger, built trust with a princess, and now carried a responsibility that spanned 2 worlds. Yet, despite the challenges ahead, he felt something he had never felt before. Hope. Hope that humans and Zypherans could find understanding. That courage and wisdom could bridge worlds, and that love, unexpected, powerful, and enduring, could guide even the most uncertain path. Liara leaned against him, resting her head on his shoulder. Tomorrow, she whispered, we take another step. We face the council's final decisions and the preparation for the ceremony. But tonight, let us simply be together, Ethan. Let us remember why we began this journey. Ethan held her close, feeling the warmth of her presence and the pulse of life they had created together. Together, he echoed. No matter what happens, we face it together. And in that moment, beneath Zephora's twin moons and glowing gardens, a new chapter began. Not just for Ethan and Liara, but for humanity and Zephora itself. A chapter filled with courage, love, and the promise of a future neither world had ever imagined. The palace of Zephora shimmered under the light of twin moons, casting colors that seemed alive across the floating gardens and crystalline towers. Today was unlike any other. It was the day of the union ceremony, a historic event that would join not only Princess Liara and Ethan, but also 2 worlds, humanity and Zephora, through courage, trust, and love. Ethan stood in the preparation hall, adjusting his ceremonial attire. He had practiced every gesture, every phrase, and every bow under Liara's careful guidance. Despite the elaborate clothing and complex rituals, he felt a calm confidence. He had survived pirates, councils, and alien trials. This day, he knew, was another challenge, one of honor, responsibility, and human ingenuity. Liara appeared in her ceremonial gown, a flowing creation of light and shimmering fabric that seemed to move like liquid. Her hair floated gently as she walked, and her eyes glowed softly with anticipation and a touch of nervousness. Ethan's heart swelled. You look radiant, he said quietly, offering a hand. Liara smiled, placing her hand in his. And you? Strong, brave, and wise. The council has prepared for today as if it were a battle, yet it is not weapons that will matter. It is our bond, our courage, and our hearts. Together, they walked through the palace corridors to the grand chamber, where the council and citizens of Zephora had gathered. The chamber was a breathtaking spectacle. Crystal spires reaching high above, streams of colored light weaving through the air, and floating platforms where musicians played melodies without touch, creating music that resonated deep in the soul. As they approached the council, murmurs filled the room. Humans had rarely been seen in these chambers, and never with such an important purpose. Ethan noticed the cautious glances, the curiosity, and the respect growing among the Zypherans. The silver-skinned elder stepped forward. Today we witness history. A human once considered fragile and unpredictable stands beside our princess. Together they symbolize courage, wisdom, and hope. May this union remind us that strength is not limited by species, and that understanding can unite worlds. Ethan's pulse quickened, not from fear, but from pride. He glanced at Liara. She gave him a reassuring nod, and he knew that no matter what rituals or customs lay ahead, they faced them together. The ceremony began with a series of traditional gestures. Ethan followed Liara's guidance, bowing at the right moments, speaking the correct phrases, and showing respect in ways that impressed even the most skeptical counselors. His movements were deliberate, showing a blend of human adaptability and careful observation. Liara stepped forward, placing a hand over Ethan's. By the traditions of Zephora, she said, her voice clear and melodic, and by my own heart I choose you, Ethan Carter, as my partner and the father of my child. Together we will face challenges, nurture life, and bring unity to our peoples. Ethan felt a wave of emotion. "And I choose you, Liara," he said firmly. "I will stand by you, protect you, and raise our child together. No matter the challenges, no matter the distance or danger, I will be with you always." A soft glow began to emanate from Liara and Ethan's joined hands. The council members leaned forward, watching as the energy symbolized acceptance, commitment, and unity. In that moment, human courage, honesty, and love were recognized as forces as strong as any Xipheran power. The council elder spoke again, his voice resonating through the chamber. "Let it be known throughout Xiphora and beyond. Today we honor the courage and wisdom of humanity, the strength of our princess, and the bond that unites two worlds. May this union bring peace, understanding, and prosperity for generations to come." As the formal words concluded, the crowd erupted in applause. Some Xipherans bowed, others cheered, and a few even wept at the historic sight of two species coming together in mutual respect. Ethan looked at Liara, whose eyes glimmered with tears of joy and relief. After the ceremony, Ethan and Liara retreated to the private gardens. The floating platforms glimmered softly, the music of invisible instruments filling the air. For a moment, they simply stood together, holding hands, feeling the weight of what had just occurred. "We did it," Ethan said quietly, smiling. "Not just us, but everyone, humans and Xipherans. We showed them what courage and trust can accomplish." Liara leaned against him, resting her head on his shoulder. "Yes, but it is only the beginning. The council may have accepted us, but there are still challenges. Our child will grow in a world that must learn to accept both heritages. And we must be ready to guide them." Ethan nodded. "We will. I've learned a lot here, Liara. Not just about Xiphora, but about myself. Humans may be new to the stars, but we have strength, creativity, and heart. That is what I will bring to our family." In the following weeks, preparations for welcoming the child began. Humans and Xipherans worked side by side, blending customs, creating rituals that honored both species. Ethan found himself learning more about patience, empathy, and diplomacy, while Liara taught him the beauty and depth of Xipheran culture. During one quiet evening, as they walked among the glowing gardens, Liara spoke softly. "Ethan, when I first met you, I thought humans were fragile, limited. But you have shown me the truth. Your courage, your heart, your wisdom, it surpasses what I imagined possible." Ethan smiled. "And you have shown me the strength of your people, Liara. But more importantly, you've shown me that trust and love can overcome fear and difference. That is something humans and Xipherans can both learn from." Liara's smile widened. "Yes, together we can teach our peoples to see each other not as strangers, but as allies, as friends, as family." The day finally came when the child was born. The palace filled with light and music as Xipheran midwives assisted, and Ethan stood beside Liara, holding her hand. When their child took its first breath, both human and Xiphoran attendees gasped in wonder. The baby's eyes shimmered with a soft golden glow, a perfect blend of human and Xipheran traits. Ethan held the child close, feeling an overwhelming sense of pride and responsibility. "We did it," he whispered. "Our child, our future." Liara leaned against him, tears of joy streaming down her face. "Yes, our child, a symbol of unity, courage, and hope. And together we will guide them, teach them, and show the galaxy what humans and Xipherans can achieve together." The council formally recognized Ethan as Liara's partner and the child as heir to Xiphora, a historic first. News spread quickly, reaching human colonies across the stars. Humans marveled at the courage, wisdom, and ingenuity Ethan had shown, earning respect not only from Xipherans but also from their own people. In the months that followed, Ethan and Liara worked tirelessly to strengthen bonds between humans and Xipherans. Trade, knowledge sharing, and cultural exchange flourished. Stories of human bravery and ingenuity became legendary on Xiphora, inspiring a new generation to look beyond fear and prejudice. One evening, as Ethan sat with Liara and their child in the palace gardens, he reflected on the journey that had brought them here, from a simple mission of exploration to fighting pirates, navigating alien politics, and facing the unknown. His life had been transformed in ways he could never have imagined. Liara leaned against him, her small hand resting on their child. "Ethan, I am glad you came to Xiphora, not just because of what you have done, but because of who you are. Your courage, your heart, and your determination. It changed my life and the life of our child." Ethan smiled, feeling the truth of her words. And your courage, Liara. Your wisdom, kindness, and trust. It changed me. Together, we have created something stronger than either of us alone. A family, a bond, and a future for two worlds. The twin moons shone brightly above them, casting their light on the family and the palace. Ethan realized that humans were not just explorers. They were capable of courage, love, and wisdom that could inspire entire civilizations. And in that moment, he knew the universe was a little brighter because of it. Liara smiled, looking at him with warmth and hope. The journey continues, Ethan, but tonight we celebrate, together. Ethan nodded, holding them both close. Together, he echoed. Always together. And under the glowing skies of Zifara, a human and alien princess and their child began a new chapter, one of unity, courage, and hope. The universe, vast and mysterious, had witnessed a story of humans at their best. Brave, compassionate, and capable of changing worlds through love and wisdom.